Hi everybody. Uh, this is to go through the summary, the journey till now with Kamal Sagar. And before I proceed further, I let me wish Kamal a very happy birthday today. And now I would like to summarize his journey from where he started at the farm with me. It all started with the Asian Racing Conference, which was scheduled to be held in India in the month of January. And as I was the resident vet and also used to take a lot of interest in developing of the farm, the onus was on me to help Mr. Poonawalla, the owner, ZSP, to develop the farm so that we should be able to hold the Asian Racing Conference in great style. So the onus was on me to help him develop the farm. To start the whole process, it was absolutely important for us to have a world class engineer to help and support and run the whole show. It struck me that Kamal Sagar was doing his final year of architecture IIT at Kharagpur. So I was thinking about it, and I casually mentioned to Mr. Poonawalla that this is an opportunity where you will be able to get the best talent, and told him that he was my nephew. He did not hesitate, he immediately liked the idea, and soon we arranged to send him the air ticket, get him back to Pune. Mr. Poonawalla interviewed him and he liked the idea and he liked the person and he was very confident. Kamal was very confident that he will be able to handle the show and be able to set up, as per Mr. Poonawalla's desire, the farm. So after Kamal completed his final term, within a month or so, we got him to Pune, and he was explained that what is required of him and what Mr. Poonawalla desires the farm to be, a world-class farm. So we set upon making some plans and taking a feedback from Mr. Z.S. Poonawalla. Mr. Z.S. Poonawalla then asked us to get ready and pack up to go to a few horse racing countries. That would be UK, France, and America. Very soon we were on our way to these countries. I had been to these countries earlier, and especially more of USA, where I had been to attend the American Association of Equine Practitioners meetings, and I was quite well acquainted with the conditions and the places there where there was horse breeding and racing. We very soon left for UK. And there we first started with visiting the place which is the center of racing, New Market. From we saw the organization, how things work, how the layout of the place was, and then from there we visited a farm and checked up the structures, more so the layout and the old type of architecture which would suit our requirements at the farm in Pune. Well, from UK, we visited a few places, like we went to the Birmingham Palace and then the Trafalgar that square, and then from there we went on to France, which also is very well known for horse racing, breeding, and there we drove down to the farm by taxi, stayed in a hotel where they actually, yeah, stayed in a hotel, and then next day we visit the farms. I would talk to the managers and the owners of the organization, and Kamal would slowly, in his own way, check out the structures, the architecture of the buildings, the offices, and which he would utilize to build our farm in Pune. From France, we proceeded to USA. In USA, we visited Kentucky, Lexington, and there, to our great surprise, Mr. Z.S. Poonawalla was there to receive both of us, and he had hired a stretch limousine to take us to the hotel. And to my surprise, even my class fellow friend, Dr. Vishwas Reddy, was also there to receive me and take me to his place. Mr. Poonawalla requested Dr. Reddy that let Handa and Kamal go by his limousine which he had hired up to the hotel. So we utilized the limousine, went to our hotel. Yes, and it was very interesting that after our dinner, it was still daylight. We ventured, we walked out, and we saw that all the streets were empty, there was nobody, and then there were footprints on the footpath, and with the name of renowned Hollywood actors and actresses. Well, from there, again we went about, and then we went to a place in Lexington and stayed with a friend. And from there, I contacted a few farms to visit them, and I could not find out how would they allow me to go in there. Somehow I came across a book in which it was given about the lifestyle and the entire life of the owner of the farm. So I called him up and praised him and said, I read your book and I liked it and I would like to visit the farm. So I was allowed, and he said, okay, you can come. And meantime, we didn't know what Kamal would do. So he also found out a place, an architect company, most probably the name was Oasis or Ocean. So what we did is we hired a car, a two-seater brand new Chevrolet. So we would both go out in the morning, would drop Kamal at his workplace, and I would proceed to the various stud farms around the place, Lexington. So Kamal, I'm sure he enjoyed the learning there. And then on our way back, sometimes I would pick him up and sometimes he would like to come back on his own, which he managed. And then we enjoyed staying there and seeing a few places. And after having thoroughly satisfied ourselves, we decided to come back and well, we came back and there we gave feedback to Mr. Poonawalla. We took his feedback as to what he desired. The ball was set rolling. We checked out the entire places and the land available to us and the systems and the finances that would be available. Mr. Poonawalla called his head of accounts and told him that for this project, none of the bills would be brought to me for checking or time wasting. Everything that comes up for billing should be cleared immediately. This was a very bold step by Mr. Poonawalla because mostly that would have been an obstacle in our smooth working. Well, slowly Kamal got down to his job, started designing, planning, and planning how to get the resources, everything. He himself was responsible and he did all the lineouts for the foundations. And well, we were given a clearance by Mr. Poonawalla to now go ahead and do and put in all the efforts and put in all what you have learned which would be suitable for this farm. He showed full faith in us. That was another great point which helped us to go ahead. Well, after a few days, we noticed that Mr. Poonawalla, the RSP, was not in Pune. He left Pune for his holidays. And then sometimes, occasionally, we would talk on phone, and Kamal and I put our heads together and went ahead full speed. And we noticed even that Kamal would sit early morning till late in the night to do his planning and designing, and I'm sure he put in all his might and all his knowledge from his architecture school. Well, slowly and steadily we were able to build a farm and we were able to see things were coming up the way Mr. Poonawalla wanted. And the most important part was the main entrance of the farm, and it was done completely in brickwork, and that brickwork had a huge arch, and we needed special care and special designing for keeping it up there, and the arch stood The brickwork looked fantastic. Every brick was put in place absolutely geometrically precisely, and the gate came up very well. And to top it up, we also added an automatic gate which would open at the approach of a vehicle. Then we also built a facility which was the heart of the farm, which is where we would receive the guests, entertain them, and exhibit the stock, our young horses, to them for sale. Basically, this is what the farm did. We bred horses, race horses, and the youngsters were exhibited in a way that would appeal to the buyers. So the main building, the reception and the sale arena came out fantastic. I have never yet seen an arena of such magnitude and so easy to be able to walk in and see the horses. And they added conference rooms were added, and a very advanced type of a kitchen was also added to take care of our guests. And finally, the day came, the Asian Racing Conference, and Mr. Poonawalla landed in Pune just one day before the racing conference. I don't know why and how he had so much faith in the two of us. Everything was ready, spick and span. On the last day, we were busy putting up the curtains and cleaning up the whole place, and it was completely ready. And finally, we dressed up the whole place with flowers and gardens and garlands. And then finally, the day comes where 3 busloads of guests, racing fraternity, the Asian Racing Conference delegates arrived by bus and drove right up to the place. And we had put flags on the railings all along the way inside the farm, and we could see on their faces how much surprised and happy they were to see such a beautiful place, which was like anything else in the whole world. It was not wanting in anything. All the facilities, all the layouts were world class, and they were thrilled. They were made to sit down. They were then exhibited the young stock, the horses, and then they were, of course, they were taken again to show our facility at various places. And this is how the main purpose was completed, the Asian Racing Conference visit. The Asian Racing Conference building, the reception, was very unique in its frontage, which had a span of 120 feet with rolling shutters. And we did not want it to be supported by any pillar to spoil the view, because while seeing horses, nothing should come in the way. So from the entire width was without any support by the pillars. In fact, it was anchored from the top behind, which was of course, we were not sure what to do, approved by his famous dad, who is a gold medalist in structural engineering, and he approved it, and he said, okay, I think it will stand. So that gave us great relief. Not only this reception building, Kamal also helped to design the architecture of the dispensary area also, which was cantilevered without any pillars, on, not even on the sides. Inside there was area for the dispensary. Through the glass you could see the entire farm, and on the side also you could see the treatment area, and behind was the lab and the accounts and the library. It was so well laid that it was very, very convenient for everybody to work, and it was a pleasure. In fact, it was a pleasure to have him with us, who helped design the entire architecture, the layout of the farm, which everybody visiting is proud of. He feels so happy to be in a place which is world class. And I'm sure now, after having completed this, he had a feeling now he has done his job. He needs to go and do more and many other different things where he could utilize his architectural knowledge. Well, he did leave us after having worked with us for about 3.5 years, and we always remembered him. As soon as we stepped into the main farm and we saw the gate, everybody, anybody, and especially me, remembered him, how he helped to design the main farm, the gates, the dispensary, the exhibition area where we exhibited our horses for sale.